for it.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Shamim, and welcome to Humarii Chaii.
Yeah, it's me, Hamza. Hype,
It's me, Hamza
energy.
Abdualla. Hamza Abdulla bola karo.
If you need to know my entire name at this point, it's in the fucking description.
Okay, but anyways, in this episode, we talked about
Shit, I think Ali wants me to talk when he prompts his finger at me. I don't know,
yeah,
man. ये
yeah,
काफी
yeah, that
ये बहुत
yeah,
ज्यादा podcast देखते हैं और समझते हैं बहुत cool है मगर चलो. In this podcast, I mainly talked, Ali mainly listened, but so this is a very rare podcast because Ali doesn't shut the
yeah,
fuck up usually. But I talked about race relations, Desi boys using the N-words, and most importantly, I talked about understanding the actions of your the consequences of your actions, and that your intentions don't really matter as much in the event that the consequences of your actions are horrible. Also, all in all, it's about being a good human being. Our personal experiences with racism and aunties taking their kids away from us because apparently
yeah.
we're too brown. It's pretty sad. But
And I
all
think
right,
iske alawa
enjoy.
just like we apologize if I think we've said something and it's like not in
If
alignment with
I've
the
said
rest of
something
the thing.
that's wrong, let me know. I
Yeah,
will accept your feedback
yeah, same.
and I will hopefully change. If I've said anything that offends you because you are racist, I don't care. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. This is I don't know, fucking episode
20.
20.
This is yeah. अबे मैंने
Okay, let me
last
hype up my
last
energy.
last podcast के अंदर bro last episode के अंदर I fucking मैंने 20 बोल दिया when it was 19 and then I had to edit it everywhere. लेकिन audio के अंदर it still says 20, so that's sad.
Okay, guys, let me hype up. Welcome to episode 20 of Humarii Chaii with me, Hamza, and Ali.
Ali
I'm pretty
Shamim
sure if
here.
you're watching at this point, this is not your first episode. I'm just going to assume that because if it is, there's better episodes to watch. And, go back to any of the old episodes and first watch those, get to know us a little bit better before Ali talks about his dumbass fucking analysis of principal agent problems. This is what happens when art school thinks that they're smart because they're artists by
नहीं,
choice and not because they can't
I
do
don't,
anything
I
else.
don't. I'm not
But
smart. I'm
please,
not
Ali,
smart.
continue.
I'm not smart.
Yeah.
यार nothing. I just feel like कि जैसे कि initially we sort of know कि there's a whole like this month as a whole we've not had any guests, we've not really had hype up energy. I think
There's a
it's
lot of
just
shit going on in this world. Let me tell you about our current political climate. First of all, there is a big problem, which is Corona.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump said USA is like stepping away from the World Health Organization. You know that, right?
Yes, Donald Trump is what you call. Oh, I'm about to call him out, bro. Let me sit up for this one. Yeah. Donald Trump is a jackass, and I say this knowing that I might never get a brown visa for the United States of America ever again in my entire life. Because hopefully this podcast gets to a point where he'll hate me for doing this. But freedom of speech and
आप इतने
fuck
important
you.
नहीं है, right? But
I
yes,
don't know. I'm not that important yet, but like, let me rephrase. Fuck you, Donald Trump. Right? Okay. All the liberals like this post. Right. Anyway, so and for all the conservatives out there, you know, he's not that bad. He didn't do that bad, but like, fuck him as a person. Fuck him as a president. Fuck him as a person. But I suppose he's a good meme. So like, there is something that comes out of him, as being who he is. But anyway, that's not the point. Other than COVID happening in this world, and everybody dying and wanting to die, and everybody being sad. There's also the whole race problem now, which well, it's been there since a long time. Now you see, I feel like I can talk about these issues because I am not white. And for all of
you
you
can be
that
white
are
and
going,
talk about these
yeah,
issues,
no,
but I think
no,
you have
no.
to
Let me make something
listen.
abhorrently clear to you
Listen, you
about
can be
race
white
in the
and talk about
conversation.
race, but
Yeah, of
you
course
need
you
to
can.
understand your position. That's it.
Mm, let me tell you something. Okay, this I'm going to be very liberal today. I'm not always, but I am going to be. If you are someone who is substantially white, and I'm not even talking about like slightly white, like there's people who are like kind of white, But then there's people who are white. You know, when you slap them, they get pink. That white, right? Everybody knows. Okay, everybody knows. But if you are and you say stupid shit like, I read this post, I can't remember who was it by, but it was like, oh, you shouldn't burn down an American city. It won't bring George Floyd back, right? In comparison to that, there was a reply on that post that said, burning down Middle Eastern countries doesn't undo 9/11. And the point of that is to say that it's very sad that we're back in a position where people are afraid to, leave their homes. I mean, they can't leave their homes because of Corona, but like, in a meta scale, leave their homes. Children have to like make sure they're not playing like in neighborhoods or shit that's bad for them because of the police, and like just to this super tragic, super sad shit. And it's like, Ali and I are both brown people. I suppose you can tell that. Maybe the accent, if not the skin
By
tone. Oh, no. If this light is hitting me too well and it's making me look slightly white, I'm
nahi.
sorry. But the point is, I have nothing against white people. I just want to add that, and I don't feel like I need to ever say that because like people who don't see color, those are the people who are the problem, right? Because it's like, what do you mean you don't see color? Like, are you like? There's a difference between being colorblind and being a jackass, right? Like,
Bro, कल मैं sorry I'm cutting you out, but
no,
कल
no,
मैं
go for
कामरान
it, bro.
से
मैं
बात
तो
कर
बहुत
रहा
गालियां दूंगा,
था
go for
and
it, bro.
कामरान से बात कर रहा था and so Kamran has this really bad habit of क्या कहते हैं edgy jokes crack करना sometimes out of the blue, right? So I was like, bro, you have
Kamran is what you would call a cuck. Okay,
I,
if you don't know what a
यार
cuck
बता
is,
yeah okay
let me
okay अबे
let
यार
me
let me
let me
continue
wait, 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 wait.
okay
This is educative for all of you that
बेचारा
are over the age of 18.
he doesn't listen to
Over
the
the age of
podcast
18. And I want this to get clipped if it ever fucking does. Over the age of 18, you have to click the enter button and you mean it. I know you know what I'm talking about, bro. Come on. And if you genuinely want to know what a cuck is, I suggest you Google it. CUCK. It'll change your world. We have a friend named Kamran Anwar. Go follow him on all his profiles and just comment cuck. But like anyway, go
oh
for it, Ali.
god ये
इसको तो मैंने
bullying
तबाह
bullying का platform बन रहा है guys
ये
don't do
bullying
that
नहीं है. This is called
Hamza is not
support.
being serious
This is called support. I am
oh,
supporting
okay
Kamran because he'll enjoy the joke. He's going to enjoy it, bro. What do you mean? He's not
he
going to
doesn't
think it's a bad
मतलब
one.
he doesn't listen to the podcast वैसे he
He doesn't
doesn't
need to because now these people
लेकिन
will go call
anyways
him a cuck. But yeah, for
मैंने
not
उसको
listening to
बताया कि listen you haven't experienced like slight racism or any form of वैसा
Oh yeah.
racism right तो तुम जब बोलते हो कि तुम बाहर मुल्क जाओगे जर्मनी जाओगे you know it's going to be easy chilling होगी मैंने बोला listen it's not just racism ना कुछ आपके क्या कहते हैं racism की जैसे ऐसे consequences होते हैं like you have just stereotypes that affect you that you don't expect कि आपको affect करेंगे right so for example people just assuming कि let's say by the color of my skin they will automatically assume I'm Indian या फिर जैसे कि I'll tell you one experience. So this is on my summer course. There was one Asian bandi. She's from China. तो ईद का दिन था ये. This is like last year. And मैंने बोला था यार I'm not ईद नहीं celebrate कर सकता. I still have to go to uni. I don't have my family around. All of that stuff, right? मैंने बोला चलो मैं कुर्ता पहन के चले जाता हूँ. एक कुर्ता है मेरे पास मैं पहन के चले जाता हूँ. I go there and it's like a blue kurta, you know. मैं jeans के साथ पहना हूँ. So like not really full kurta सलवार. बंदी
अगर आप
walks up to
jeans और
me,
कुर्ता पहनते हैं, I also just tune out. I don't want your view.
but
I'm just going to alienate everybody today.
बंदी goes like, oh, is that an Indian costume? और मैं उसकी शक्ल देख रहा हूँ. मैं बोल रहा
It's a
हूँ,
Southeast Asian costume.
right?
South
It's not a
Asian
costume. It's a
specifically.
dress. It's an
Hey, a
देखो
costume. I'm sure
costume.
the definition of costume is something that allows her to say that. I don't think she meant it racially though. That's the thing.
I
I
feel
don't think
like
she meant it in a discriminatory fashion.
she didn't but at the same time I think it sort of implies कि जो आपके stereotypes होते हैं जो create होते हैं because of certain skin
Yeah.
color के associate आपके जो narratives होते हैं, let's say, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, simplification of someone's culture or simplification of क्या कहते हैं people as वो कि ये black है तो ये ऐसे ही behave कर रहा होगा, ये brown है तो ये ऐसे ही behave कर रहा होगा, right?
I mean, I agree with you. Obviously, there's implicit racism, there's stereotyping, there's assuming how people will behave based on their skin color, whether it's movie casting, as
तुम्हारे साथ हुआ है
people
कोई
used to.
racist incident?
मेरे साथ बहुत crazy racism चीजें हुई.
क्या
I think I've told you this, Ali.
हाँ तुमने मुझे
Have,
बताया, let's share it. I'll
have
tell
I
you
told?
about
Oh,
mine.
okay, Ali, you want to go first or should I go first?
Okay, I'll go first because I feel like I'm already talking about it. तो एक
Yeah,
दफा
go for it.
I was walking back home, सही है,
Yeah.
and this is again in the summers. तो लंदन का फायदा ये है कि there are a lot of, it's like a melting
A lot of
pot,
brown people.
right? हाँ, a lot of brown people, a lot of people from
Yeah.
everywhere around the world. So कम होते हैं I guess, या फिर अगर अगर कोई है भी ना आगे से racist, they're probably not gonna show it that much I guess. But I was walking back home और मेरे सामने से बंदी आ रही थी. This is pre-corona. Let me start with that. This is pre-corona.
Okay.
Bandi has her children and then she literally just picks up her child and walks across the street and ताकि वो different उस पर चले जाए.
I've had a very similar thing happen where I've been at Marks and Spencer's buying my strawberries, like rich kids did once upon a time. That was in the UK. I'm poor now. It's fine. But I was buying my strawberries and shit, and I was in Marks and Spencer's, and there was this little girl who was like, just coming towards me. I don't know. She was just coming, like, I don't know why she's smiling at me too. She was like maybe 6 years old at the most. Innocence, no race in her eyes at that point. And then her mom, decided that she's going to make a racist out of that kid. So what she did was, the mom just like picked up the kid, took her away, like just away, like she wasn't even close to me, yeah, but she just took her away and stuff. And like I suppose she told her that don't go near people like that. I suppose shit like that, which is weird because in terms of like menacing, I don't think I look menacing. I don't think I look like I'll eat your children
नहीं,
because
you look
I
like
don't
a
eat white meat.
typical,
But
you
what?
look like a typical like देसी क्या कहते हैं देसी kid but who is like really studious and stuff. I think लोगों का पहला impression तो यही होता होगा, देखो चश्मे
Of
पहनता है.
me?
हाँ हाँ for sure.
Bro,
जब तक तुम
I
अपना
mean,
मुंह
you're
नहीं खोलते
probably
ना,
the only
तुम
one who's
जब
given that to me.
नहीं जब तक तुम अपना मुंह नहीं खोलते, I think ये impression तो आता है कि वो पप्पू
I've
बच्चा.
met people. I'll give you the first impressions people have had of me, and they've said it to me openly because I'm
Wait, I'll
lucky
tell you
enough to
my
know.
first impression of you, but तुम बताओ जो हमारे सीडर का summer course था ना उसके अंदर we haven't
No,
shared
but
our.
then I was very different back then, right? That was like first of all, that was 4 or 5 years ago. I was like fucking massive. I wore these little squarish glasses. I was wearing like a lot of light blue. I don't know.
हाँ
And no, I get it. Back then, I would understand if that was your first impression of me, somebody who studies, somebody who's not capable of having a social life or anything like that.
नहीं अब ऐसी बात नहीं, social life को मैं not
I'm
get.
not trying to say people who study don't have social lives. I'm saying I'm talking about me. I'm talking about
Okay,
my
okay,
perception of
okay.
but people I've met over here, the first thing they say to me is, "Wow, like you're an asshole," and I'm like, "I haven't talked to you. I haven't said hi. I mean, maybe that's why, but
Okay,
I
have you heard of the term big dick energy, right?
yeah."
Yeah, there's an I feel like there's also an energy जो होती है, oh this guy's an asshole energy.
Yeah, I feel like it exists. And I feel like I do exude a lot of asshole energy, but that's not asshole energy. It's like, why do you want me to be high? Like, why do you want me to be all like, oh my God, hi? Like, no.
I
You have to say hello, and I will say hello, and then we will probably fuck off for the next 3 months because that's what people do. If you want to have a long conversation with me, you're welcome to. But like, if you start your conversation, okay, let me tell you something. I'm gonna put someone on blast on this podcast, right? But not name any names
okay.
because yeah. But
Except Kamran.
nah, Kamran, fuck him, right? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you all something about Kamran, right? So he was starting a podcast with Ali before I was, I was not interested in starting a podcast at all until like very, very much like later. But when Kamran and Ali started this bus batein or whatever it was,
No, it was Bas
um,
Baatein, then it was Teen Take.
yeah, whatever the
Bas
fuck it
Baatein
was,
never,
right?
Bas Baatein never really aired.
Yeah, okay. So whatever it was when they started that shit, now I didn't know Kamran at all. I didn't know Kamran through anybody other than Ali, right?
Hmm.
And none of you do too, because let's be honest, how many of you will be on iFlix watching a shitty comedy? No, none of you. Okay. Um, the fact that you're on this podcast right now means that I've already succeeded more than Kamran's little dick energy.
अबे तुम
Shit,
you were
bro, मैं
talking
इसको
about
इतना तबाह क्यों कर रहा हूँ, bro? I'm
हाँ
sorry, I'm sorry, I'm
unnecessary
sorry.
you
I'm kidding,
deviated
I'm
बहुत
kidding,
बड़ी
Kamran. Okay, like he's not always been supportive, and he is kind of an asshole. But Kamran's like one of those guys, you know.
supportive in what sense क्या बोल रहे हो
No, no, no. Like, let me finish this. Let me tabah Kamran a little bit. I hope he
he's
doesn't take
supportive
actual offense to this, huh? I hope he really doesn't. But I'm about to say something that's going to really hurt his feelings. But you know, there's people in this world that don't really that aren't really popular growing up. That aren't really like important, right? And then they get a little bit of importance, whether it's through like a partner or whether it's through like their talent, whether it's a little, just a little bit, and then they feel like they have this massive uh, basically they have this massive ego that they need to like deal with because of how important they are to like three people. Kamran is one of those people. I'm one of those people. It's okay.
I was like ये कहाँ
Plot
जा रहा है
twist.
मैं
But
चुप
no,
I'm just thinking ये कहाँ
no,
जा
no.
रहा है where
No.
is this going
Anyway, like back to the point. Like, so she takes her kid and she just takes her kid away, and what that does it perpetuates a cycle of telling your kids that these people or people in general that don't look like you, that don't talk like you, that aren't you,
hmm.
are either not good for you, they're either dangerous, they're either like anything other than the same as you, right?
Hmm.
Like in essence, like it's not about not seeing color. That's why I really hate the whole I don't see color campaign. It's about seeing color, understanding that all color is equal, and just wanting to be chill with everybody.
हाँ because
Like,
uh, I think इस conversation का एक important part ये है to acknowledge that human beings biologically we create an us in them, right? Like
suppose.
physiologically we are inclined towards that thing, right? कि
Okay.
in group or out groups create करना is a part of our psyche, right? Human
Yeah.
behavior nature का हिस्सा है because we are tribal in like our ancestors were like nomadic and they moved around in tribes before the whole uh, settling in and villages and then the whole industrial revolution happened, right? So
Yeah, okay, Ali keep dropping these bombs. Like everything Ali says, please fact check it, but continue.
नहीं, but
Yeah,
listen.
we need to continue.
But basically we have common ancestors from with the apes and stuff like that, right? And I think we don't
I think you should take
emulate
that back, Ali. I think that's a very, very non-religious thing you just said, bro.
हाँ, अबे यार okay मैं
I don't know, bro. I feel like you just fucked up.
I
In
don't
the
care
okay, let me
अबे
clarify for
listen,
Ali. In the event, in the off chance that human beings are evolutionary and that they are not created from one specific gene tree of Adam and Eve, then, but otherwise continue. Yes.
but
Bro, I'm
okay
saving your ass right.
okay हाँ सही है okay I'm not saying कि I'm not implying कि evolution से हो रही है but we do share a lot of traits and there is enough science in the real world that implies that we have the prefrontal cortex which is a more recent thing and our like mammalian the rest of our mammalian brain, right?
Hmm.
So I think कि लोग भूल जाते हैं कि human beings are inclined towards looking at similarities with other human beings and looking at dissimilarities with other human beings. So जब that doesn't establish कि you hate someone, but I think I think it's established that it's a survival mechanism, right? That if you see somebody who's similar to you, they're uh, uh, they're going to help you move around and ensure your survival because human beings हम कुछ भी चीज करते हैं it's like on the basis of survival. We socialize on the basis of survival. We procrastinate, seek comfort. That's because we are inclined that ensures our survival. right? तो क्या कहते हैं, like we move away from discomfort and move towards comfort because our brain knows moving towards comfort means moving towards survival, right? So uh, I feel like a lot of people, when we have this whole conversation of the race thing, they forget that ke human beings, until we have to teach each other not to be racist or not to be क्या कहते हैं hateful. So I think it's a learned behavior. जैसे तुम अपनी स्टोरी बता रहे हो ना कि that kid didn't know that you were a threat, right? Or not a
I'm
threat.
not a threat. Please
Exactly.
clarify this.
But
I'm not a threat to children. Don't say things like that, bro.
yeah.
Don't say things like that.
Okay, listen now.
Bro, don't even imply things like that. Okay, continue.
Okay, but the parent didn't teach the child कि अच्छा you don't go towards stranger. The parent just क्या कहते हैं moved the child away and not teach them कि क्या कहते हैं ये होगा. So the child will learn,
What?
okay, the child will identify threat as, okay, threat looks like this. So anyone
Yeah,
then with that skin color is going to
yeah.
seem as a threat to the child.
So the
वो
problem,
अलग
the
बात है
problem
कि
is,
mass media just amplifies all of this,
yeah. The
right?
thing is, it's like, look, should you come towards me if I don't know you? No, you should not. I'm a stranger. You are a stranger. I don't want to talk to you. You don't want to talk to me. It's great. You can both fuck off in peace.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you allow, say, for example, if I'll talk about like brown tradition because I'm not going to talk about white people because I'm not white. But there's, yeah, I mean anyone can talk about that blandness, but it's
वो
okay.
कल मैं बाहर चल रहा था and I was like, mind white people culture, like no hate, there's some nice things, but yes, it's really bland.
I feel like white people culture isn't a thing. That's very racist for you to say. There's a lot of different kinds of white people. There's Europeans.
I'm talking
There's
about
different eras of Europeans. British
British
people.
England का
I
culture.
like me British people, but I'm not gonna shit talk British people. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck America as a collective unit. Other than the fact that you think you're a melting pot of anything other than racism, fuck America. But in terms of UK, yeah, I mean, I like me some UK, bro. Come on, yeah. Fish and chips. Oh, come on,
I
feed
haven't
me.
had.
I haven't had fish and chips since I left the United Kingdom. That was like a good year ago.
Why did you
8, 9
leave?
months
By
ago.
the way, let's talk about that.
No, let's not get into
तुम्हारी
that.
why
But
not? Why not? Why
because
did
I'm
you
not
leave?
getting into my personal life on this podcast.
Okay, it's not okay, not personal. Let's not. अगर तुम अपनी कोई story share कर रहे हो, like we have shared some personal events, right? Like जैसे ये racism वाला event भी is a personal
Yeah, but
thing.
there's a big difference. One is related to my family, the other is related to me. I don't talk about
Oh,
things
okay,
that
चलो
are
ठीक
not.
है,
Yeah.
okay.
But back to the race thing, as I was saying, when you perpetuate a culture where you're ensuring that your child will run, when your child runs towards someone who's white because the child's white, it's okay. It's like, oh my God, I'm sorry for the kid bothering you, and you take them away, right? Versus if your child is running towards someone who has melanin in their skin, which protects us from skin cancer, it's great. You should try it sometimes. It's genetic. But, and then you just pull them away from that, and then you're just like, telling them that if you're not like fucking white, it's a problem. And I don't have a problem with you telling me that. I have a problem with you raising children into a stigma where they'll feel like they'll feel like until hopefully the point where they get educated enough to know that their parents were wrong, they will probably think that Ku Klux Klan is probably good for you, stupid shit like that. But the point,
Yeah, I feel like uh, हमारी जो situation है, like individuals like us who get the privilege to move outside the country and or just like even get to study abroad, right? Most of us will experience some sort of unfortunately like mild, very subtle या फिर extreme
no,
racism,
there's definitely going to be racism
right?
in any way. Yeah.
Right? But I feel like the from a Pakistani concept या फिर somebody जिसकी majority जिंदगी, like हम दोनों की majority जिंदगी तो वैसे पाकिस्तान में ही रही है ना.
Yeah, 100%.
तुम 2 साल बाहर रहे हो, मैं
Yeah, for
1 साल
now.
मेरा होने वाला है, right? और वो भी
Like,
like partially like क्योंकि just traveling back and coming back. I feel like within Pakistan, like the whole idea is like so messed up because Pakistan में colorism is it's
it's very
never
much present. Yeah, it is. It's a thing.
And I feel like कि conversation भी नहीं है उसके बारे में.
You're
Like
right.
maybe Twitter पर woke boys की हो रही है, right?
Yeah,
Right?
but no, you're right. There is no mass media coverage on colorism. Yeah, you're right.
And I feel like
100%.
कि that sort of adds to uh, us being subject to it as well.
No,
In
but
the
but if you look at it inherently, the stigma is the darker you are, the worse of a person you are. It's not about being, because it applies to light skinned black people as well as like dark skinned black people, right? There's
yeah,
this whole fucking colorism type of debate on it because of a whole historical thing that I cannot talk about, that you should probably Google and you should learn about it. But I'll talk about it in Pakistan at least. It's like you the fairer you are in terms of being brown, even the lighter shade of brown you are, the more tan you are in comparison to dark brown, I suppose. I
hmm.
don't know much about colors. I'm sure Ali can give you a whole fucking
वैसे okay,
spectrum of color.
fun fact वैसे basically colors के ऊपर tonality जो होती है, every human skin is basically orange. It is a different saturation and a hue of orange. So वैसे there is no brown
So
as a
you're
color.
saying Donald Trump is the OG? You're saying he's the realest one? Right? Okay, my bad, my bad.
नहीं, but वैसे we are all orange and our skin is translucent. So because it's translucent, light behaves differently. So जैसे melanin आपकी skin में आ जाता है, right?
Yeah,
So
what a
it's
nice statement.
right. So that pigment literally changes the way light is. लेकिन
Hmm.
skin as a whole of any person of any race is actually the same color. It's just translucent,
Yeah, okay.
and it's
Fair
like
point.
different layers
What a
created.
nice fun
So,
fact. Everybody,
but anyways,
सात तालियां. But chalo, anyway. Um, it's like even in Pakistan, right? Even in East Asia, it's you put you put Fair and Lovely, you put these shitty creams. Oh, I sponsored Fair and Lovely. No, fuck Fair and Lovely. I'll say it, bro. I am against the whole concept of whitening creams. Fuck all whitening creams unless you want to endorse us. Then still fuck you, because I refuse. Okay, I have morals, I have ethics, and I
हाँ,
have a grandmother who tried making me slightly whiter. So let me tell you something. It's not cool, right?
हाँ.
I have this
Yeah,
little
I'll be honest.
cousin.
Yeah, I have had cousins जिनके parents are
Oh no,
obsessed
no,
with
I
like
know, I know.
whitening their skin,
Yeah,
and I've had
it's really
relatives
annoying.
who have said stuff to me, especially to my sisters. I
Yeah.
think men don't have it as worst as
Oh,
worst,
definitely not.
right? And like लेकिन उनको like shit बोली गई है कि oh you're pretty but your skin
Yeah.
isn't,
So
and shit like that.
so obviously Ali is referring to his sister, who I know as well, so I understand where it's coming from. But I have a little cousin. She's not that little anymore. She's like I think 11 years old.
Hmm.
Holy fuck, maybe 12. I'm old now. But
Hmm.
chalo, when she was young, I think she still is young, but she was
12 is
she
young,
she
bro.
she she was she is a darker skin tone than the rest of my family. I suppose she's the closest to my skin tone. I am currently what you would call slightly I've been slightly like mellowed out because of being international, because of not being subject to Karachi's like tan.
Hmm.
But other than that, if you see me in my beautiful, most flourished and most nourished condition, I am 3 shades darker than this. But she's brown, like darker brown than like the rest of the family. So she often gets shit for it. Like she's often like, she comes to me and she's like, Hamza bhai, they tell me that I'm too dark, and I'm like, it's not a thing, the darker you are, the better than you are than these people, trust me. But like it's like, bro, like in my opinion, it's like people are like, okay, everyone should be treated equal, right? And I
Hmm.
agree, everybody should be treated equal. But when people are constantly like reinforcing the fact that the darker you are, the less you are, the uglier you are, the less attractive you are, or shit, then people need to understand that, at least in my opinion, dark skinned people are far more attractive than white skinned people. I said it. I said it.
Yeah,
And I mean
okay.
it.
I feel like कि Pakistani culture में तो we have forgotten at least कि like learned behavior जो होता है ना basically हमने 2 to 3 generations we have literally just learned brainwashed के okay people who are fair are more attractive because we have like these celebrities that are like literally look at any celebrity,
No, it's because of colonization.
Pakistan, right? I think it's colonization, but it's also we have to recognize that uh,
Look,
before
the
South
celebrity culture has been perpetuated from the initial colonization.
South Asian culture before colonization, right? There was like a caste system within the Indian region,
There
right?
being a caste system was based on religion. It wasn't based on skin tone. It was based on the Sikh split, the Hindu split, the Muslim split. It was a religious based thing.
Okay, I've heard that it had a skin color element in it.
Now maybe I don't know shit.
There was
Can't
like,
say it. Yeah.
okay, again, I'm not an expert on this, but there were basically like Brahmins, and then there were lower castes and aise khana, right? And this is like uh, before India came, like 1947. Se pehle wala.
This is he's talking about the subcontinent,
Yeah, right.
not about the
So,
Indian Pakistan
so
split that happened.
richer
Yeah.
people
Okay.
were of lighter skin because they would stay indoors, and आपके जो lower like socio economic backgrounds वाले boys थे वो बाहर होते थे, so they were subject to like more
Yeah.
sunlight, so they had
Okay.
darker skin. So I think that is where the whole, like within our culture, colorism started like coming, because visually you looked different because of your
I don't want. Yeah, I understand what you mean. I don't want to talk about how it started because I don't know. But
I don't know,
I'll
but this is one thing
yeah.
I've read about like repetitively. I've come across this idea
But
of it.
but but one very like constant thing is this is even applies for East Asian culture. It's like East Asian people, you look at them, they're pretty much white. Like pretty much. Like when I'm referring to East Asians, I'm not referring to like Malaysians and Thai people. I'm
Bro,
referring to
I
like
think you should
no,
rephrase that.
no.
I
I
think you
will I
should
will phrase
rephrase
it
that.
in a way where it will make sense because it is completely correct. It's when I say white, I don't mean like Caucasian. I mean their
Okay,
skin
okay.
tone is fair. Okay, fair
Yeah,
to the point where it's not light brown. It's
yeah,
nearly white.
yeah,
But the point is, even then you see them. You see there's a split in slightly darker East Asian people than lighter skinned East Asian people. You see them doing cosmetic surgery. You see them trying to become more, if not just their skin being whiter, their eyes, their lips, making their lips fuller, whatever it is. And even in brown culture, you see it. Like people are like literally doing cosmetic surgery on their faces, making their noses smaller, doing things
trying
like
to look
that.
more
Yeah,
Caucasian.
trying to look more white, trying to look more Caucasian, right? And the problem with that is people don't respect their own race enough, right? This is pretty much internalized racism, which stems from obviously oppression. But when you look at yourself and you don't like yourself because of your race, that is when racism has literally won. Okay, it's like people at I'm gladfully at a point where in my life, अगर कोई मेरे पास आए और मुझे कोई गाली दे और मुझे कोई कुछ racist बोले, it will not affect me to the point where it would have affected me previously in my life. Like, would I fight someone over it? Yes, but that's because I would fight someone over it. But like, would I like go home and be like really sad and be like, shit, this light skinned person said I'm too dark? Like, no, I wouldn't because like, bro, look at yourself. You look like a shit. But it's not the point. The point is also though there is this one thing I wanted to get into with Ali. This is what I said to him in a few days ago as well when we were thinking about what we want to shoot this podcast about. And I'm glad that we talked about racism and obviously the current political dynamic is about racism because of this whole case that's happening. But it's
Yeah,
it's
man, that's
about yeah,
unfortunate. Like,
it's very unfortunate, but it's also like I was watching this video by Kevin Hart and Lil Wayne. Like it was it was an interview. I suppose Lil Wayne has a podcast. You should check it out.
really,
But
he said
yeah, yeah, he does. And he was talking to Kevin Hart about it, and Kevin Hart said that it's not like it's anything new. The only difference is it's being documented now. So it's like now you have cameras, now you have people who have the ability to take videos, that people have the ability to prove that there was excessive force used rather than just, word of mouth. And he is right, like to the biggest extent, like racism has always been there, like since the fact that I don't know when, but like it's been there for a bit, my entire lifetime at least if not my parents'
and I
lifetimes
think
and
and
their
I think
parents' lifetime.
and I think when people like Kanye West like stand up
Oh
and say
man.
it's a choice, so that also messes it up because uh
The thing is, it's like I get it, bro. There are Republicans out there who are like different races than Caucasian. Like, I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know how to
okay.
put it, but
वो political matter में आ जाता है, right?
but he
वो
didn't mean it on
policy में
political.
आ
But
जाता है.
when Kanye West said that slavery was a choice, when he dropped those words, I will side with Kanye West, not about slavery being a choice because he is stupid as fuck when he said that. But I feel like Kanye West is a little more messed up, right? And I mean, I get it. Like, people have problems and they
I
should
think
address those
I think he
problems.
just used he just had a bad choice of words. He probably was trying to talk about something else. मैंने वो interview
I
देखा है.
feel like when you're a professional rapper, when you're Kanye West, when you're a mogul, when you have the ability to articulate yourself better than anybody on the planet through your music, it gives you the ability to not say slavery was a choice. I will say that. Like, I mean, those are
But
words that are like very
we have to
specific.
acknowledge that he has had like bipolar disorder, and
No,
that's probably
I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying I'm okay with the fact that he has problems, which is why don't take everything he's saying seriously.
हाँ,
But
that's true.
the simple impact of his words is too great, right? It's like
Hmm.
it's tantamount to like our own prime minister in Pakistan, like Imran Khan saying shit that's based on colorism. And Imran Khan is comparatively light skinned for being
Yeah,
a Pakistani,
it's
right?
Pathan.
Oxford, and
Dukaandar.
he's, yeah, I mean, Pathan to hai, but like beyond that, studied in Oxford, right? Like, I mean,
हाँ,
he's pretty whitewashed when it comes to being a brown guy. I want to say that. But that doesn't mean that
also
he's.
married a white person.
I don't want to get
Right.
into a point where Imran Khan like becomes an enemy of anything. So
अबे ये
I don't
podcast
really
बंद
I
हो
don't really
जाएगी.
like, bro. It's not about the podcast. You completely don't understand one thing. The podcast might never be famous, but I don't put all my eggs in this basket. So these clips
हाँ.
might fuck me up. Okay, that's the way I look at it. I don't want to like not be able to meet my prime minister because I said that he is too whitewashed to be brown. Okay, I didn't say that. Am I applying it? Yes, but I didn't say it. Anyway, the point is, if he was to go ahead and say shit like there should be a clear segregation between class structure based on darker Pakistani people and lighter Pakistani people, that would be like oppression. That would be crazy. That would be stupid as fuck. But he doesn't say shit like that, right? Because he's like educated, he's smart. Even if he's not educated, he has common sense. Something people lack, something most racist people lack.
Hmm.
But beyond that, like what I was getting back to what I wanted to talk to Ali about, like a few days ago, I messaged him. I wanted to talk about political correctness. And
Brown boy using the N-word.
yeah, and this is the thing, right? My problem with brown boys using the N-word, and I will refer to as the N-word because I don't say the N-word. Why don't I say the I have had black friends who are like, it's okay to use it, but you don't use it, right? It's not
Yeah.
about having the permission, it's about understanding the intention.
Hmm.
The intention does matter, but the consequences should supersede the intention, basically. Like, there's this philosophical concept called the doctrine of double effect, which basically implies that your intention matters more than the consequence of your action, right? And the problem with shit like that is your intention can be to clean your car and you can throw rubbish outside, right? Like, you can throw trash outside your car because your intention is to clean your car, but the consequence of your action is littering, right? So that your intention never takes away from the consequence itself. This also gets completely applied to like brown boys using the N-word. And the thing is, like, you use it because you're like, मैंने rap में सुना, मैंने
Okay,
मुझे
हाँ,
नहीं
okay.
पता,
I feel
मुझे
okay, I've had a friend that used the N-word way too much, right? Like you don't know of this person, you know of this person, but you don't talk to this person. और ये बहुत early like O levels के time की बात हो रही है. This is like 6-7 years ago. My understanding is the reason why most brown boys, even the burger full educated A levels, like
yeah, I know a
quality
lot of rich
education
people
मिल
use
रही
it.
है, English
Yeah,
बहुत
I know a
समझ
lot of
आती
rich
है,
people use it.
right?
Continue.
I feel like the reason why they use it is because they aren't made. First of all, their introduction to the word is when they're introduced to the word, it's in a very different context. They're being introduced to it through rap music, through right,
Through black
So,
culture, yes,
through
yes,
black
which is
culture
which is
mainly,
now which is now basically pop culture,
right?
globally at least.
Yeah, hip hop is
Yeah,
thing
no,
है,
like,
hip hop thing.
it's not
Uh,
even just Black Panther. Like, black people have been on
yeah,
the rise. They're getting their time. Should have gotten
huh?
a long time ago, but
Yeah,
good.
yeah, definitely.
Continue.
But I think first of all, their introduction to the word is in a very different context. It's in a context it where they aren't introduced to the history of the word or the words, right? So I think that's one reason why they end up using it, because obviously hip hop culture, especially जो 90s के बाद जो आया था जरा सा 2000s वाला Lil Wayne, like when it expanded beyond just black culture, right? When it became about being a rock star, like Lil Wayne is a really good example of that. Lil Wayne became like he was like up there. He was like talking about making millions, having bitches, all of that stuff, right? So I think
Also, yeah, don't use the word bitches, Ali. It's very,
yeah,
very offensive
yeah,
to women.
yeah. I mean, I'm quoting. This is like
Yeah, you can quote. Okay, sure.
right, but basically having that sense of outlook, like how I'm winning at life. So when I think they got introduced to that culture and that word from
I think Ali is glitched out. Now I don't know what's happening, but from what I understand, Ali is about to talk about how they got used to this word and they learned about it through music, through hip hop culture, through thinking it's cool to use these words and shit. But I would just like to highlight the fact that Ali was not all that right when he said shit like Lil Wayne began it because Lil Wayne didn't begin it. Like when you want to talk about pop culture and like reality rap, you could say, I'm not going to say it did stem from NWA, but you could say it did. It's a great movie. It's called Straight Outta Compton. I mean, it's one of the best movies because it's like not all based on facts, but the story lies in like when your culture becomes so strong and like when the power of your culture becomes so strong that it can last a while, that it has an overlasting impact. That's when you have to understand that Ali basically you dipped. So what happened is
yeah,
I've been explaining them the whole thing about culture and about how NWA began the concept of being black is cool, that and like fuck the police and all that stuff, because they didn't want to rep out like millions of money and like money, having money, having a lot of sex. They didn't do all that shit mainly. It was more in terms of talking about how there's police inequality, how they have to gang
police
bang to
inequality,
survive. Police inequality, what did I say? Oh, police oppression, right? And like
violence,
how all,
basically.
yeah, but like how all of this stuff exists, and how for them it's not gangster rap but it's reality rap because they're only talking about what's actually happening to them.
Huh.
And when shit started like moving on, like when it started going from that to where African Americans, at least in America, they started making a lot of money. They started wearing chains. They started like being tatted out, like balling out, living their best life and shit like that. And then everybody wanted to be like them because everybody wants to have massive chains on, have millions of dollars, have a giant mansion, have hundreds of women. Why not, right? Live your life,
Yeah,
right, people?
yeah.
But the point is, after that, then Black Panther came out, which you could say was like one of the biggest waves of like
Going to war,
popularizing culture,
like
like a movie that had only one white person in it, which was I think was it Hulk or was it like Captain America? It was one of them. I don't remember.
nahin, 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 nahin. Yeah, no. It just had that police
It
guy.
had it had one person who was
हाँ, but
white.
it wasn't Avengers का कोई नहीं था उसमें.
Yeah, okay, I don't know, but first of all, Michael B. Jordan, right? I'm just saying. I just want to say. I just want to add for all the people that are watching this. I know you all know who he is. Oof. But yeah, anyway, that's not the point. The
Man,
point
even
is like,
Chadwick Boseman is crazy
yo,
good.
bro,
Yeah,
don't sleep on Chadwick. But no, that's not the point. The point is, you see them now, and you see how, as a race, they have become more popular just because they're physically more attractive. And that's not about skin tone, that's just about general health on
oh yeah, man.
average. Yeah.
Also, like
I
how
mean,
articulate they are, how they present
yeah,
themselves.
like I mean, like bro, like everybody, there came a point where every kid wanted to be black, but they didn't know what being black meant because being black actually meant that you have to be oppressed and that you can't get jobs and that having tattoos means you can't really work because people don't want to hire you. That people would
Mhm.
be afraid and clutch their purse if someone walks towards you. Like I'll give you another example of how racism has occurred in front of me. This isn't
Bro, Black
towards me,
Panther
but
की बात करो यार. You were talking about Black Panther. I want to talk about
I was
Black
just
Panther.
talking about it as a movement. I was not going to get into the movie. I'm not like going to fanboy about Marvel for 3 hours.
नहीं,
It was a
but
great
okay,
movie,
the
and
movie
it did a
represented,
great job. It did a
but the
great job
movie,
giving African directly Africans a voice, not African Americans. Not trying to give like just Africans who are now like technically Caucasian in terms of like their popularity, but it did a great job in like generally spreading just awareness and culture and unity, and that I don't think there's been a movie out that has done that. It just has not. And the way they did it wasn't by being inclusive. They didn't. It was by being completely direct, and it was by being like, this is us, and like we are able to be as famous, as talented, as like artistic, as whatever it is. Like they clearly did it, and they did it amazingly. But like I remember this one time I was in Canterbury. Shout out Canterbury, and um, I was with a friend. I can't remember who it was. I really can't. But she had her purse in her hands, and there was this dude coming from the back, right? And she just really clutched onto her purse, and I looked back and I was like, why'd you clutch onto your purse? And I saw that it was black. I was like, this is really racist. Like, I mean, I was like, pause. This is like super racist. Don't assume just because he's black he's going to rob you. He's wearing Gucci's flip flops. Okay, he's richer than you are. Okay, like please, easy, right? Also, like it does exist, and it's not just black. I don't want to just talk about like African Americans and black people in general, because like there's a lot more like that racism extends to. Like I'll talk about how Turkey is very racist towards brown people in terms of Pakistani people. They think that we're either drug dealers, drug consumers, or just really dirty people, which is not true. I'm exceptionally clean. Yeah. And
I am not.
yeah, but like you're just a fucking nasty person. That's on you. But the point is like when people have these racial biases, the only dumb person in that equation is the person who has the bias. Like, I mean, you're making an assumption based on something that you know nothing about, like absolutely nothing. You don't understand, and this ties into the whole like using the N-word thing, because when you think it's cool to drop the N-word with your friends and you're just like, oh my god, like shit like that, I don't want to say it because I'm not going to say it, and I don't say it. I'll go to the extent of, and I'll be incredibly honest with you. Up until maybe 5 years ago, I did say it. That's because I was dumb. That's because I was ignorant, and that's because I was not completely educated. Right? It's not about being woke. It's about not being a jackass. Okay.
O levels के अंदर basically.
A little bit prior in O levels, but the point is, the reason I admit it is because I know I'm not the same person anymore. Right? I don't use it anymore, right? So
Yeah.
I don't have a problem in the fact that I would tell you guys that I have changed, that I have become better. But there are people who use it. There are people who like, and you know what? This is going to be very, very, very aggressive. But the people who replace the G's with B's, and this is to basically the whole IBA, like entire fucking University of IBA. I don't get why you think just replacing a couple letters makes it any less bad. Like, I'm sure Ali knows what I'm talking about, but when people use that word, I think it'll be in the title probably, because I don't think that's wrong, but it might should be. I don't know. This is a very complicated thing, but I'll. But when people like switch out some letters and say shit like, like that kind of stuff, it's like, bro, your intent is still the same. You mean to say the same word, right? You're just trying to say it in a more politically correct way, but the whole concept of the word is not politically correct. It's not
Man,
meant for any race.
I'm just
Uh,
scrolling on Twitter. Can you see this?
yeah, but you can't read it. Kendrick Lamar performing, just read it
Kendrick
out.
Lamar performing on top of a police car at the 2015 BET Awards is now more relevant than ever.
It's the BET Awards, Black Excellence, televised. That's not the real one, but it's great. That's something Charlemagne
I
the
don't
God
know.
says. But anyway, um, the
Oof.
point is there's also this song called "Stay Woke" by Meek Mill and Miguel. You should also listen to that. But the point is, I want to talk about brown people and how brown people drop these words, because that irritates the shit out of me. I fucking hate me some coconuts. I absolutely hate me coconuts. What are coconuts? Coconuts are people who are brown on the outside and white on the inside. Wow, that was aggressive. But chalo. So when you use the word, and when you think that your intentions they're different, or when you think that it's not going to make a difference, it's like if I use the word with a group of my black friends, and they're okay with me using it, and I feel like I'm okay enough to be able to use it with my Pakistani friends. Now my Pakistani friends think it's okay to use it, which then means that they'll use it, which means now you've perpetuated this entire fucking massive cycle of using a word that should not be used by anyone other than the party that's genuinely the one that's allowed to use it. Okay. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like it. I don't like PC. I don't like that shit. That's all. Yeah. Big ass tangent about like I don't know why, but like yeah. Feel like I'll title this one. It'll be like hate for haters. No,
Yeah,
but
I
really,
just
don't.
feel
Yeah.
I just feel कि I am somebody who's not great at having conversations like these because I'm not that articulate or that well read, first of all. And it's been like a struggle, I would say, to like educate myself, but also understand that conflict-based conversations are still important, right?
Yeah, definitely.
They're important, uh, and I think this is why I like the medium of podcasting as well, because it is not like Twitter, कि you have to like just do a riff, or like Instagram, कि एक post है. It's like an entire conversation. This is why like when people say कि oh उसकी clip डाल दी, I feel like a one-on-one conversation like this, or like a one-on-one या फिर a long conversation is like one of the most authentic forms of having uh like a dialogue like essay, especially like online mediums में, क्योंकि if somebody pulls this out of context, तो तुमने कोई चीज बोली है, like let's just say 5 seconds की एक clip, right? You're just saying something like this, like मैं O levels के I used to say the word or something like
Yeah.
that, right? And then people like circulate it and stuff like that, but
Go for it.
they will have to because it will be out of context, and there's like this hours and hours of information of you now online, of the type of person you are or the values that you have, and how you're as a person at least willing to change and whoa, I feel like improve your uh,
To my
thought
chances of not
processes
getting
and
destroyed. Yeah, I agree.
no,
But
it's like
no, no, I
willing
get
to
that.
learn, and
Yeah, 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 yeah. The
you
willingness to
are
the willingness to learn is a very big like thing people have.
willingness to learn and willingness to accept that you can be wrong,
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah. You know
right?
what? Let me get into something else. You know, there's people in this world who, when they're presented new information, they still keep their old stance because they're just trying to be like very stubborn and just arrogant and just dumb. People like that are also a problem. It's like, bro, if I'm telling you something and it's like factually proven that you are wrong, just accept that you are wrong. I'm not going to like make fun of you for being wrong. I'm going to make fun of you if you don't choose expect that you're wrong, because now you're just being a jackass. But I want to end this podcast on one note, which is the consequences of every action do matter. So like when you have an intent which is positive but your consequence is horrible, then you need to understand that you are also very much accountable for your consequences, right? You have to hold yourself accountable. When you drop the N word and you don't think it's a big deal because you're surrounded by Desi boys who've never actually ever seen somebody who's black, or for that matter experienced any form of racism, then you don't think you're causing any problems, but you're perpetuating a hate cycle, because one of those jackasses might go on to say it to somebody who will either beat the living shit out of them or it might just ruin their day, right? So it's like, why do,
Or just might be kind enough to understand and educate the
yeah,
person.
yeah, oh, definitely. But the thing you need to understand is like, freedom of speech is important. It is. And it's like, why should we not be able to use a word that's a word in the English language, and like it has like, it's a word, everyone can use it, we don't mean it that way. When a word was specifically designed to oppress, like the word was designed to oppress, it wasn't even like a word that's used to oppress, right? It's like it was designed with the sole purpose of oppressing a race. Don't use it. Even if you don't want to oppress the race, don't use it, bro. It's easier not to use the word than it is to get into these fucking hour-long arguments about why you shouldn't use the word. Okay, like why do you need to use it? Like, this is my question. Why do you need to use it? Do you use every word in the English language? Every single fucking word you use it, right? So why do you have to use this one? You don't. You're just an asshole who just thinks it's cool because black people do it, and because they have money, and now they're just cool and shit. So now you want to use it, but you're not going to get cool like that, okay? Because odds are you're brown, so that means you're not black, so you can't use it. All right, that was factual. I feel like this is a massive tangent where I talked about stupid shit. It was all very relevant stuff. It was just very confused in terms of my stream of consciousness. Plus, Ali lagged out for a bit, so it was funny. I don't remember exactly what this podcast is about at this point, but I'm pretty sure it's about race relations, not being Caucasian. Because I don't want to be like every other race, right? So I'll just say not being Caucasian, and also not dropping the N word, because if you drop the N word and you're not black, please understand you're a piece of shit.
Also, okay, अभी हम intro record करेंगे, so if you're still listening, just give us feedback of what you think of this podcast, because I am somebody who's not comfortable all the time, or not that I'm not comfortable, but I feel like I personally at least stray away from voicing out my opinions, because there are two reasons. One is that I just feel like I'm not educated enough. That's like first. It's not that I don't care, it's like I'm not educated enough. The second is because I'm aware that I'm not educated enough, I feel like I am somebody who should not have an opinion or should not take a position to judge something. Like I'm not, what I really mean is that I don't consider myself important enough to say ke, oh, this is it, yeah, this is the way things should be. So it's like saying ke, to Ali Shamim, like, shut the fuck up. You're not that important to step in and
No, I think that's stupid as fuck. I think not
have.
having a stance and a perspective on
नहीं,
on
stance.
problems such as these are
नहीं,
pretty fucking stupid.
नहीं. Having. I'm not talking about having a stance. I'm talking about uh, not knowing enough, being aware of not knowing enough, yet having the confidence to step in and say. जैसे अब अगर तुम जो चीज बोल रहे हो कि not having it is not showing that stance or choosing not to have a stance. I'm not talking about indifference. I'm saying have it. But let's say अगर कोई तुम्हारा जो जैसे हम देसी बॉयज की बात कर रहे थे जो they use the N word. If they have a stance, they're gonna walk in, they're gonna be like, नहीं मैं तो use करता हूँ. They're gonna drop the word in the conversation itself. They're gonna hurt the system more, right? Hurt other people more. So it's really acknowledging that even though either I take a, it's like the act of stepping back. It's not that कि मेरा कभी भी opinion नहीं होगा, but it is like right now it's important that I stay quiet, so that people, first of all, who have the right like constructive criticism, constructive information, जिनको voice होनी चाहिए, उनकी voice आए. Like for example, white people speaking up is fine when ऐसे आपके वो हो रहे हैं, but it's better that they don't in a lot of cases. You let the people who are suffering, like oppressors, agar, if you're from the side or the wide group of, let's say, somebody who's had the history of being not oppressed, right? It's better you give somebody the space. So it's
Yeah, but if you
acknowledging
have the voice, then you should speak about it.
and
Yeah.
I feel like uh, it's really hard, but I think it's a very stoic idea. It's like saying कि not everything needs to be judged by me, not everything needs to.
Oh no, it's not about it being judged by you. It's not about you individually being able to change anything. It's about you. You're not judging it. You're changing your behavior towards something which you believe in because of the reasons you believe in it, which you have
Yeah,
to have, because if you have an opinion and a perspective, then you must follow your own opinion or your own perspective at least. Otherwise, it's hypocritical. But like, if for example you feel like it's bad to use the N word because of racial inequality, and you then make sure you don't use the word, it's not that you're not acting. You are acting. You are acting in your daily life. You are acting in terms of the people you communicate with. My friends don't use the N word around me because they know it makes me uncomfortable. I won't talk to them. They don't, because it's very annoying to me. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's funny. I don't think you can laugh after you say it. I think it's stupid as fuck. I mean, obviously I'm referring to my brown friends or my black friends.
yeah, okay.
But
Marcus Aurelius का ये एक, this is like one of his riffs जो meditation में होता है. It's just like you always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. these things are not asking to be judged by you. Leave them alone.
Okay, so Marcus Aurelius again. I don't think just because an old white guy said it, it's true. I don't.
Yeah,
I
yeah, 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 yeah.
inherently don't agree with
Okay.
ancient philosophy. Being a student of philosophy, I disagree with most ancient
Yeah,
philosophy because it's
but the way I
predefined on
see,
this shit.
but
But
the
I get
way
what you mean. I get what you mean. It's better to like take yourself away from getting into the conversation than it is to get into a conversation ill-informed, and that is
yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's
So I feel
100%
like
true. Don't, yeah.
this is one reason. Like even when we initially talked, I said कि मैं किसी चीज पर like political चीजों पर I will always try not to have a conversation for two reasons. One is that like जैसे ये वाली conversation is it's not divisive in nature, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
It's not divisive in nature, but
Yeah.
दूसरी चीजें भी. So the reason why I don't want to talk about politics specifically is because it can be just divisive in nature, and the other reason is because I just feel like कि मैंने पढ़ा लिखा ही नहीं है कुछ, तो मैं क्यों बोलूं?
No, but like for me, what I would take from it is like the reason I wouldn't talk about politics is because politics is something where you might be wrong, you might be right. Same thing goes with religion, same thing goes with most of shit. But when it comes to basic moral human rights, it's like
हाँ.
I mean it's like nothing I said is wrong because everything
Why
I've said is more about unity.
you see violence, it's obvious, right?
Yeah, like I mean I'm not gonna get to the I'm not gonna say if you want to get into an argument with me about who one of the most prominent figures of Black history is, I'm not going to talk about that because I don't obviously know enough about it, right?
And I think it changes
Yeah, but
contextually.
there's obviously there's people in this world who will be able to have this conversation with you, such as Killer Mike. And even though he's a rapper, he's still very, very, very smart, and you should check him out. But the point isn't that. The point is like if I have something to add, and adding it means like there isn't much of an audience for this podcast, right? There isn't. It's like a few
30
people.
people, 30
Yeah.
people average
In
listening.
the event that the 30 of you have taken something from this podcast, and even if one or two of you use the N word, which I doubt any of you do because you all watch this podcast and you're all probably pretty cool, huh?
हाँ.
But in the event that any of you do, and you at least spend some time thinking about why you shouldn't, spend some time thinking about why it makes you why you use it, right? I've done my responsibility. I have attempted to use myself as an example to help, or at least not even help, to at least educate you into understanding that when you there is a consequence for your action, and that you should at least hold yourself accountable for that action. And that applies to everything in life and not just like race relations. Whether on whatever you do, there is genuinely a consequence for it, and you will suffer for it in the end. So might as well suffer for it before you make the decision, and just make the right decision. With that said, I think we're going to end this podcast now. It's been quite a long one.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired about talking about this shit. All right. Bye bye. Also, yeah, some feedback I needed. If you made it an hour and 1 minute and 28 seconds into this podcast, which since our average watch time is not that high, you have not. But Ali wants to shave his head. Do you guys think Ali should shave his head? If you say yes, he will shave his head on this video, not this one, but like the next one.
Next one.
I'm not shaving my head. I look magnificent, so
I
it's not
don't
worth
think
it.
I will do it, but okay, let's see.
No, Ali's going to do it. 100 likes. Ali shave his head.
100 likes. Okay, yeah. If it gets 100
I'll
likes,
get this to 100 likes, Ali. You don't understand. The people will share that. Okay, like this, comment, share, and just share the shit out of it. Make sure everyone you share it to likes it. Get this to 100. Ali will shave his head, and looking at Ali shaving his head will most definitely make your COVID break much easier. And that is a sure fact. Okay, guys. See you. Bye.